What's going on, everybody? It's Game Unboxing Reviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga news update. So, in today's video, I'm of course going to be breaking down the new gameplay trailer and showcasing and talking about everything that you might have missed. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so before I break down the trailer itself, we have to talk about this amazing clip that played in the background of Gamescom's opening night livestream, as it showcased a lot of the game's characters, including Maz Kanata, Kylo Ren, Boba Fett, Dio, Queen Amidala, Darth Maul, Chewbacca, Ben Kenobi, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Mace Windu, Rey, C-3PO, R2-D2, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Wicket the Ewok, Jar Binks, BB-8, Rose Tico, Captain Phasma, General Grievous, Yoda, Finn, Poe Dameron, and Lando Calrissian. But that is just 26 heroes and villains out of a roster of over 300 playable characters, so there are much more still to be revealed. And if you watch the clip carefully, you may notice some funny little moments between each character, such as Rose electrocuting Jar Jar, as well as a brief appearance from a Mouse Droid, and even a blink and you'll miss it flyby from a Resistance X-Wing. Now then, let's actually start breaking down the actual trailer, starting with this shot from The Phantom Menace, which shows Padawan Obi-Wan, Padme Amidala, and Qui-Gon Jinn in Theed's Royal Palace hangar, but you'll also notice some Naboo starfighters that are taking off in the background. Next up, we get a new look at Anakin Skywalker, likely in Watto's junk shop on Tatooine, and young Annie here is holding a purple teddy bear that has one eye, which could be in reference to Star Wars' Cyclops-like alien species known as the Abyssin. Up next, we get a great look at Chancellor Palpatine, as well as Obi-Wan and Anakin aboard Grievous's invisible hand, as seen in Revenge of the Sith. And we also get a glimpse at the game's new and improved force mechanics, where you have full control to completely manipulate any LEGO object, as demonstrated here by Obi-Wan when he throws a box at Count Dooku, who is of course being defended by the super battle droids in the background. Now this next shot is taken from a cutscene inside Ben Kenobi's hut, and if you look at this frame picture on his wall, you'll see Obi-Wan drinking some blue milk with Commander Cody and his fellow clone troopers. But there's also another frame picture, and I could be wrong about this, but it appears to show Obi-Wan and Anakin performing the conga line dance with several stormtroopers. And I have to point out that the worn and scratched attention to detail here on Ben in this scene is amazing. Nothing too interesting to point out here, but this shot does give us a great look at Luke in his rebel flight suit as he hops into his X-Wing and sets a course for Dagobah. Speaking of which, here we get a cool look at Luke's training on the planet with a little bit of platforming, and again, the dirt from the swamp in between the pieces of Yoda's minifigure is such an impressive detail and really adds the kind of cinematic quality that you see in the LEGO movies. Next up, we see Luke and Vader's duel on Cloud City, which shows off the new lightsaber combat, and this time around it is a lot more fluid and deeper, with a natural and realistic feel, allowing you to discover your own combos with a mix of light, mid, and heavy attacks, as we see Luke slashing Vader twice before performing a backflip. Here we get to see some more of the gunplay with the new over-the-shoulder camera, as Finn battles Sith troopers on a Sith Star Destroyer, as seen in The Rise of Skywalker, and one of the troopers is flying with a jetpack, while another is without a helmet, which could have been shot off by the player, as you can now freely aim and fire at any individual part on an enemy. Up next, we finally get a closer look at Luke's force projection on Crate, as seen in The Last Jedi, and there's also another shot of him covered in the planet Salt, and we even get to hear his new voice actor, who I personally think sounds great and is already delivering a very convincing take on Hamill's older version of the character. Now here we see the remains of Supreme Leader Snoke's throne room aboard the Supremacy, which is the backdrop of Rey's battle against the Praetorian Guards, who have these awesome electrified spears, and it's very cool to see Rey using both the Force and a lightsaber against these enemies in combat. Here we get a funny shot of what I would assume is Wicket's special move, as we see him perform a backflip attack on a stormtrooper. Moving on, we see this very open flight sequence involving Obi-Wan in his Jedi Starfighter, as he flies through asteroids in space and chases Jango Fett's ship, as seen in Attack of the Clones. Next up, we get a new look at Geonosis' Petranaki Arena, featuring Mace Windu as he confronts Jango Fett, while Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Kit Fisto battle many droids, and in the background we can see what appears to be C-3PO with his head on a battle droid body, just like we see in the movie. Not much to point out here besides a funny interaction between Rey and Chewie, but I did want to mention that this is our first look at Luke's other Ahch-To outfit from the movie, which looks really nice, so hopefully it will be unlockable to play with in this game. Now this is probably one of the most interesting shots in the trailer because it shows the pause menu, which features several icons, and while it is currently unknown what each one represents, I think from left to right it could be characters, vehicles, upgrades, quests, and mission free play. The pause menu also shows the galaxy map, collectibles, and several planets, including Ahch-To, Kef Bir, Endor, Hoth, Bespin, Crate, Dagobah, Utapau, Dequa, Naboo, Tatooine, Geonosis, Pasana, Kamino, Kashyyyk, Kijimi, Kantanika, Yavin 4, and Ajan Kloss. So that is 19 unlocked planets and 5 that are currently locked. But if we add the other previously confirmed planets, those of course being Coruscant, Mustafar, Jakku, and Starkiller Base, that means that there is only one more planet left to be revealed. Up next we see an X-Wing and I think an R9 unit travel to Tatooine through hyperspace, and these open areas of space over each planet are fully explorable, but once you're done flying around you can choose to land your ship on a limited selection of sites, in this case the Mos Eisley spaceport, where we see a Rodian doing some sweeping up. Once on the planet we see Luke riding a dewback past the spaceport, which now has an Imperial Landing Craft inside, and we can also see 2 dual-wielding stormtroopers who are shooting at Luke, and a look at many of Tatooine's NPCs that are just going about their day. Here we see Rey standing next to a speeder bike on Jakku before taking off using a jetpack, which gives us a great look at the overall surrounding area, as well as many of the NPCs, including what appears to be a Twi'lek. Quick shot here of C-3PO riding an AT-ST through Kashyyyk. I love that he can actually drive these kind of vehicles and join in on the fight. That is going to be so much fun. And we can also see a Wookiee in the background and what appears to be a Vulture Droid that is flying through the air. Now here we see Jana on the planet of Kef Bir, which I have to say visually looks incredibly movie accurate. We can see the wreckage of the second Death Star in the sea, and if you pause the trailer at the right second you'll notice an unknown NPC and what might be the skimmer that Rey used to reach the wreckage in the movie. So it would be pretty cool if we could actually ride the planet's extreme waves during free roam. Next up we see Yoda's battle against Palpatine in Coruscant's Senate building, which is a fight that didn't actually feature in any of the previous games. So I love that we'll be able to play through new sections of the movies, and I would especially like to see Mace Windu's duel with Palpatine in the Chancellor's office, because that would just be amazing. Moving on, we have this stunning new shot of Han Solo riding a Tauntaun through Hoth, which does an excellent job of showcasing the planet's extreme weather conditions. We can also see a zipline and a tower in the distance, so this is probably showing Han's journey to find Luke, but it would be pretty awesome if there are colder sections of the planet like this during free roam. Here we can see Finn aboard the Supremacy in his First Order disguise as he shoots TIE fighters to drop on what appears to be Captain Phasma behind a force field. Now here we see Qui-Gon slicing up battle droids in the streets of Naboo, and we previously saw Luke being shot at by stormtroopers and confirmation that Tatooine will feature random Tusken Raider attacks. So it'll be pretty cool if every planet has enemies that inhabit them, which you can just choose to pick a fight with whenever you want, especially if when you're playing as a villain you could attack heroes like the rebels, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Up next we see Obi-Wan's battle against Jango Fett's ship on Kamino, and in the background we can see R4 as well as the planet's air whales and an unknown NPC that appears to be asking for assistance, possibly for a quest, and it would be pretty cool if we could actually use those air whales, seeing as how we can already ride the Tauntauns and the dewbacks and all these other cool creatures. Here we see Rey climbing Takodana Castle with a lot of NPCs and X-Wings below her, and the collectible that she is trying to retrieve appears to be one of the 500 Kyber bricks that are scattered across each planet. We can also see another one of these collectibles near Maz's statue, and you use these bricks as currency to spend on upgrades for your vehicles. Next up we see this awesome shot of Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan and Jar Jar trying to outrun the Opee Sea Killer in a bongo in the Naboo Abyss, but as we all know, there's always a bigger fish. Nothing too interesting to point out here, but this shot does give us a great look at Kylo with his rebuilt mask as he chases Rey in the TIE Whisper on Pasaana. And lastly, the final thing that we need to talk about is of course the game's delay to spring of 2022, which has understandably disappointed some people. And I totally get that, as I have been looking forward to this game since it was announced all the way back in June of 2019. But the fact is that this is TT Games' biggest LEGO game to date, and while I believe that some of the team are now back to working in the office, a lot of this game has been developed by individual members of the team from their homes, not to mention the fact that they are all working with a brand new engine that they have never used before. So making this game was a huge task from the get-go, but I honestly think that the delays have really helped it reach its true potential, as it already looks absolutely stunning. So we just have to continue to remain patient, because this extra development time will no doubt pay off in the long run. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. All that's left to say now is that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga will be available for the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch and PC. Anyway guys, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and as always, if you'd like to stay up to date with the latest news on this game, then please be sure to like, comment and subscribe.